Well, that's me live, so that's something. It is dark out there. It must be Monday night. I mean, it's got to be. Hey, George just joined in. That was quick. Hey, buddy. Y'all remember George from last week? How could you forget? What a guy. Hey, apologies if you can see this blue plastic, not plastic, rubber band on my microphone. The hair elasticy type things on my shock mount are aging. So we went MacGyver. Used a blue plastic, not plastic, rubber band. Oh, guys, I'm tired. I had a bit of a day. I got the longest walk I've done since I broke my ankle. Pulled 10.5K along the beach today. That was nice. Walked, y'all know where Rosetta McLean Gardens is in Scarborough? Well, I walked there, but at the bottom of the bluffs, and it's at the top. So that was nice. Got to pat some dogs. I do like patting dogs. Oh, and there's Erica. Oh, bless your souls. Got a couple of folks with us now, and isn't that nice? This is going to be a fun one tonight. Little change in plans, but only a little. And it's the start of what's going to be an unusual 2-week same brewery pairing, but the logic is sound. Now let me explain what's going on. You will remember I have some beer from the Indie Alehouse. Love the Indie Alehouse. What more can I say? They're fantastic, and I do love them. I'd gotten taken by one of their social media advertisements, because they were selling their hot sauces, and I do like a hot sauce. So I got some of that and some beers. And it turned out people really seem to enjoy me eating hot sauce. So I got some of that and some beers. And it turned out people really seem to enjoy me eating hot sauce. The Spice Factory from the Second Wedge there a few weeks back. And I thought, well, hey, I now have some hot sauce from a different brewery. Maybe that could be a thing. Breweries, you want to make some hot sauces? I'll eat them. And I will tell you what I think of them. So that's what we're doing tonight. I was going to do the Line Out Lager, which is Indie Alehouse's beer in partnership with the Toronto Arrows Rugby Football Club, which I am a fan of, big fan of the Arrows. And I was going to do that tonight. But then the wheels started turning, torches started burning, and my buddy who played for the Toronto Arrows would be interested in jumping on and doing a little interview, little hangout and chat. So I reached out to him and he said, yeah, that's cool. He said he wouldn't promise quality content. And I said, you'll be fine. So this time next week, barring any technological problems or change in plans, I'll be chatting to none other than recently retired from professional rugby, Dan Moore, who I think we can officially now call a friend of the pod. So that'll be good fun. I'm going to save the Line Out Lager for then. I don't know if there will be any Line Out Lager left from Indie Alehouse at that point, but I will drink it and talk about it. I've had it. It's pretty good. But I'm sure they've done 2 now. They did Salter Street, and now they've done Indie, the Arrows, that is. And I don't think that you would do 2 and then stop. You might do 1 or you do many. So my suspicion is many, which means there will be more coming down the pipe, and I will let you know. Because I like beer and I like rugby. So kind of one-dimensional. Hey, is it hot in here? I wonder what's going on. This room is notoriously frigidly cold. Now my beer fridge isn't on fire or something. I don't know. I'm feeling warm. I'm gonna unzip my hoodie. Actually, I'm gonna take it right off. Gonna go crazy, guys. Oh, I'm stuck. Ugh, okay. Okay, we're there. Sorry. Hey, this is live podcasting. It doesn't work, but this part of it's live. Hey, let's get drinking, because I do still have a delicious, I assume. I don't think I've ever had Indies made and thought that isn't at least delicious, if not really, really, really delicious. So I'm going to go with preemptively assuming this one's delicious. Beer from the Indie Alehouse that we will do tonight. Because the other option was Godspeed beers, and I love Godspeed to the moon and back. But, I get a little one-dimensional that way. So we're going to do 2 indies in a row, and then I'll probably do a Godspeed after that. What have we got here? Well, if you're watching on the video, you will see this is a very attractive label with these, I'm not sure what kind of leaves they are. Kind of mapley looking, maybe Japanese maple. Oh no, I know what they are. That was really dumb of me. They're probably either grape or hop leaves, and I'm going to go with grape, which will make sense in a second. With these little birds, it's a very attractive label. Indie generally has pretty attractive labels, and this is the Vine Song 3 blush. Now, I have read the label a little bit. Full disclosure. I tend to try not to do that, but I needed to know at least a little bit what I was getting into here. But this is, I don't actually even know what you would, I mean, I suppose if you were entering it in a contest, you'd probably put it in experimental beers. But I think technically what this is like a hybrid beer, in that it's a beer, but then so it's brewed and that's great, and it's brewed, it's fermented in a fodder. How did we decide we pronounce that? I think I looked it up. I'm going with fodder, but I think that's wrong. Which is a big wooden fermenter, like a giant barrel. You know those silly saunas they make to look like a barrel? That's like how big a fodder is. You could turn it into a sauna. Don't. It's probably more effective producing beer, and you could probably make a more comfortable sauna. So don't do that. But that's your visual picture. You could fit in most fodders. But then they add in a couple of grape juices, like wine juices that aren't wine yet, and do a secondary fermentation, predominantly using those sugars from that wine. Or grape juice. It's not wine yet. And so then, well, now what is it? Is it wine or is it beer? It's both. It's a hybrid, I think. Well, never know with YouTube. Is watching, listening, feel free to chime in. But the Beer Exchange has just joined, and that's some beer wine hybrids. But it's definitely not something that I typically get my hands on. So I'm pretty excited. You wouldn't know that given how much I'm talking about it. So I'm going to open it. Just need to get my bottle opener. And Indie's got such beautiful bottles. If you're a home brewer and you didn't already know this, these Indie Alehouse bottles are amazing, especially if you were a home brewer like I was, which was I loved making saisons with really high carbonation. And these things are like tanks. If you crown them properly, they're never going to pop. It's great. So let's get a little Foley. Do you love the sound of a bottle opening? Oh, the smell just coming out of the neck of that. Now I've brought a fancy wine glass because it's a hybrid. It's becoming a bit of a hot habit now, isn't it? Because I drank it out of a wine glass a couple weeks ago. And I lamented then that I never get to do this. And here I am doing it again. Okay, let's get the camera angles down. Camera 1, go camera 2. Oh, LED backlighting. That's in a constant morphing pride rainbow. So I'm always not sure if I'm getting color cast from that. It is. Oh, it's definitely a little reddish in the middle. It's quite, oh, sorry, that wasn't at all on camera. It's easier to look at it over here. So, but on camera, you can see it is opaque, sort of orangey yellow, but definitely tending towards red or blush, as they suggest, in the center. It's a delightful color, if nothing else. It's a very beautiful looking beer. Quite opaque, not chunky. And I can see slight images through it. Like I could see the shapes of my fingers behind it, but it's very, very hazy. And just this huge grapey aroma. Oh, my fridge just came on. Guess who forgot to unplug his fridge? Again, this guy. Tons of wine aromas coming out of this already. I haven't even stuck my nose in it yet, but I'm going to now. Oh, man. Oh, gosh. Oh, golly. Oaky, like I can smell, I'm assuming the fodder in that. Not massively, but it's there. And then, yeah, I'm not super good on nosing wines. And I did read, I know wine in here and something else. I can't remember what else. But the vinous quality I'm getting is a little floral and more on the berry sides of things, juicier. sort of. Uh, oh, this is interesting. George is telling me to pronounce Foder Hooter. That's what the AI sent up when I said Foder. Oh, okay. So the AI doesn't, it's a whole boob connotation thing. Troublesome. Anyway, yeah, a very white winey, berry like floral wine kind of thing going. But then also I can smell saison, or like what I think of as like saison yeast, and like it's a little funky. I really want to drink it, but I want to pull this apart a little bit. Yeah, like it's I mean there's some saison spicy yeasty kind of qualities to it. Couldn't really pick up any maltiness on the. There's a quality to the yeast that has a little bit of something on it. It almost like white glue, perhaps, which might be a bread influence. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm going to put it in my mouth because that'll help a lot, I hope. Then maybe I'll look it up. We'll see. On the palate, it's almost entirely, sorry. It's doing things in my mouth right now in a good way. Palate. So peppery, spicy. I do get some malt on the palate. Yeah. It's interesting. I don't think it's just two row. There's not enough color in there to make me think it's like a darker malt, but there's something a little more. There's a quality to the malt that there's a depth there. Actually, it could just be a really particularly nice variety of like two row or Pilsner malt or something like that. Or it could be a couple of things kind of layered together. Bit of two row, bit of like just straight kind of like Canadian malt with some Pilsner and maybe like something else. I don't think there's crystal or anything like that. And it may be a little hard to say. I'm not getting a ton of sweetness, which is quite nice. But then what happens is all of a sudden you get these winey characters that initially I thought was like, oh, it's like Brett, kind of cherry pie-like almost. But it's not, I mean, I'm not saying that there isn't bread in it. It's a Foder, so you kind of assume that there is. But I think most of that characteristic that I'm actually getting is the wine, because it's tart and a little berry-like and a little floral. That I'm getting isn't Brett so much as it's the wine. It's pretty cool. It's very dry, as you would expect for a re-fermented beer. It's interesting. I almost left out the mouthfeel. It's got a very prickly carbonation. Fine bubbles. It's not like soda pop carbonation, but it's prickly. It's the word I always used to describe this. Kind of like, I guess a little bit like champagne bubbles, but it's not that carbonated. So similar feel, but less carbonation. And it's very velvety on the mouth. It's dry, and it's not even a medium bodied, but there's a nice weight to the beer. Which, come to think of it, could also be partially the wine influence. I don't know about that though. Is that a thing? I'm not as knowledgeable about wine as I'd like to be. I suspect there's probably some sugar in wine that can't get fermented, and so you end up with a little bit more. Well, obviously though, that there are wines that are bone bitingly dry. So I don't know what I'm talking about. George is saying like food, Foder. We're still trying to figure out how to pronounce Foder. I'm gonna stick with Foder. Anyway, this is really nice, like really good. Kind of wish I bought more bottles. Yeah, fruitiness in the wine is strawberries and gooseberries, and What's the floral thing going on here? There's a citrusy quality almost to it, but it's not like, don't think about like IPA citrusy. Need at least the bottle and then maybe the internet. And then we're going to eat some hot sauce. A blend of photo-aged grape juice. I obviously didn't read this very closely. Must is what's when they squish the grapes, like when Lucy's in the barrel stomping around, or the Grape Crush woman crushed and had a lot, if not all, of the juice extracted from it. And that's called wine must. It also, incidentally, is used. It then gets, I think it's almost like they soak it and then they run off that liquid and then ferment that. And that's what's in here. Yeah, that will impart quite a bit of flavor characteristics, although it does tend to the skin and stem. You tend to get more tannins out of grape red, even though they tend to be white or blush in the bottle. That has to do with how much skin you remove. But so if it sits with the skin, you're going to extract a lot of that color. So that's very interesting. Very winey aroma for sure. Beautifully drinkable. It's really nice. Treat this like a wine. I mean, it's carbonated, so you can actually work a little bit with that. But in terms of what you're going to eat while you're drinking it, have it with dinner. It's obviously it's fruitier and more floral. So this isn't necessarily something you're going to want to do like a big sturdy red wine kind of meal. This would probably be pretty good with like a turkey or a game bird. So it'd be nice, with your Christmas dinner that probably happened a little while ago. But yeah, think along those lines, but not just like, I mean, you could do it with just some chicken or something like that, but no, like roast some sort of nice bird, at least turkey. If you can lay hands on something like duck or pheasant. Duck. I once pairing with a duck confit. Again, not something I particularly eat, but something I've made a lot of because I worked in a French restaurant, and we made duck confit by the kilo on the reg every night, literally trays of it. That could be really interesting. Really well with cheeses. Again, think in terms of what you would normally drink a white wine or eat while drinking a white wine. Some of the lighter, more floral cheeses. Some of the funky ones can work, but obviously you need to watch because they can really get away from you. But certainly like a big fatty brie or something. Pardon me. Again, between the acidity from the wine and the carbonation in the beer. I realize it is a beer or wine. It's a little ambiguous, but the characteristics that it gets from the wine are quite fruity and tart. The characteristics it gets from the beer are quite dry, a little spicy, and obviously also the carbonation. It would do really well against a really fat-heavy cheese. So that could be something cool to play with too. Rios. What did we say it was called? Vine Song 3. The 3 is in reference to they have a mixed pack. I don't know if it's the third one or if it's I'm old. Leave me alone. Looks like it might be the third one. They have a Vine Song mix pack here. 2 of them are caged and corked. That's like a champagne top. 2 of them are capped, like the one that I just had. I obviously had one of the ones that was capped. What a deal. 4 bottles, $40. That's $10 a bottle. Okay. Hang tight. I know you're maybe getting a little freaked out, but this is a 500 ml bottle. It's 8% alcohol by volume. And not only was it aged in a foeder, which is a time-consuming and space-consuming exercise, but also it has grape must in it, which I realize is technically like a byproduct of winemaking, but it is still something that they are going to have to bring in, and then use. And again, that takes up more time. I had not quite a discussion, but I read a comment on a left field picture, and I couldn't tell you who the person was anyway, and I wouldn't, because I don't think they were necessarily being snarky. I think they were just voicing what they were feeling, and either hadn't, since they thought it through isn't quite the right word, but anyway, they didn't understand. But they were saying, left field, why is it your short cans are all sort of $3 to $4? But I'm pretty sure other people meant the account as well. Somebody very patiently pointed out that actually the range in price per can goes from I think 280 up to whatever, because it can get quite expensive. But that if you do that, and if you buy it in the mix pack, you also get a bit of a discount and blah blah blah. And so actually, it's fairly competitively priced beer. But what I stepped in and pointed out is that if you're buying beer from a smaller brewery, and I would put Indie's got a second production space now. I think they do. Maybe they just have a barrel space. Maybe they do just still brew at the brew pub. But anyway, their volume, I think, them in left field are in the same level. Oh, I've just smacked my microphone making level positions with my hands. And yeah, people like Godspeed and Muddy York and Aveling and that size brewery. Expect for a beer that doesn't require an amazing amount of time or exceptional ingredients to be about $1 per 100 ml. So a 350 ml can, $3.50, totally normal. A bit more, that's fine. Less, great. The problem is you see bigger breweries like Amsterdam and Great Lakes and Bose and Muskoka and Collective Arts, people like that, and they're selling their beer at the LCBO. And indeed, often a tall boy is about $3.50, and of course a tall boy is 474 ml. But that comes down to the volume of scale. Wait, no, that's not the right phrase. It comes down to the fact that they have a large scale production and you produce a lot of volume. It's easier to do it at a lower price. So expect them to be more in the range of like 75 to 90 cents per 100 ml. But I think $10 for a bottle of this is magnificent. Incidentally, Vinesong 1 is at 8%. Interesting, they went with Bianco. What language is that? Blanco, I thought. Literally no information about the beers here. Oh, maybe because it's in this pack. Maybe if I go to the shop. Isn't it great listening to me doing this live? Don't you wish you could just listen to me surf the internet all the time? I bet there are people. 3 blush. No, I need to get some of that for Dan. All it says on the website is what it says on the label. So there you go. That's what we know about it. It's delicious. Saison, amazing. Big wine aromas and a nice bit of wine on the finish. Beautiful, beautiful beer. Eat it with Game Bird, maybe Duffy. Guys, I know you've all been waiting for this. I almost feel bad with such a beautiful beer doing this to my mouth. Again, get your mind out of the gutter. Maybe it's only my mind that's in the gutter. I don't know. Hey, guess what I got here in my hand? So like I said, they had 3 hot sauces available. I got them all. They've got the, incidentally, I mistook. I just assumed. I made a stupid call that I should have processed more clearly. I got 3 sauces. I got this one, which is the nasty sauce. That just sounds like it's going to be a bad idea right out of the gate. But a good one if you ask me. I also grabbed their pepperoncini hot sauce, which is my impression was sort of like the daily hot saucer, like your Frank's, but better quality. And then also their Carolina mustard sauce, which when I saw it, I processed Carolina. It probably has Carolina Reapers in it. It's probably pretty hot, but it's not. It's a Carolina style mustard sauce, which if you know a lot about barbecue, in parts of the Carolinas, they'll do it's almost always pork, very rarely beef barbecue, sometimes a whole hog, sometimes shoulder, like pulled pork, but it'll be served with a vinegar sauce. So it's not even so much of a sauce, it's like a spiced vinegar with spiciness and also covered spices. So it's hot and flavorful and quite tart. You throw that on your pulled pork and it's pretty nice. But by the way, that was the okay sign. I'm not making a southern parts of the America white supremacist sign. Gotta deprogram my hand from doing that. The other part of the Carolinas, the norm is a mustard-based sauce. So that's what I mean. It's a Carolina mustard sauce. And actually, they do provide helpful heat rating scale. And the Carolina is actually less spicy than the pepperoncini. And I'd assume the pepperoncini was the least spicy. So I'd started using it already, and it's delicious. And I like it a lot. Tastes very much, as you would expect, like pepperoncini peppers, which have a distinctive taste, if I dare say so. So I decided not to do the Carolina mustard sauce tonight. Instead, I'm going to do the nasty sauce, because it is 4.5 out of 5 of these Indie Alehouse hot sauce logos. You can see on the back. It's quite small. So 4.5 out of 5 sounds pretty hot. I don't know what a 5 is in their books. If a 5 is like Tabasco, this is going to be pretty easy. But I don't think that's the case. I don't think you call a sauce nasty sauce and then make it like weak. Now, this time I brought a spoon because last time with the Spice Factory, I actually had a spot on my hand where I dumped it. It's that kind of a sauce. So we're going to do it on a spoon just in case this one's that kind of a sauce. I also brought some potato chips. Last time I had nachos. We didn't have any nachos when I was just in the kitchen. We did have a little drag ends of potato chips. So going to have that. So here we go. Indie Alehouse nasty sauce. I mean, it sounds great right out of the gate. They have these little limiters on the lid. Let's give it a whirl. It's hot. Tasty. Oh, I like that. It's pretty hot though. It's not as hot as the Spice Factory was, I don't think. But I also felt pretty confident about the Spice Factory after the first taste, and it wasn't until like the second that I really started to hurt. Interesting. I do need a bit more. I haven't read the label aside from seeing the scale. I saw that it does sort of list ingredients. This is either habaneros or Scotch bonnets, and I think it's Scotch bonnets. Beer is very perfumey after that hot sauce. Very floral. Let's have another little glug here. Get a good one. Now that I know I'm not going to die. That's very good. Okay. Cool. Not as sour as I was expecting off the aroma. I know you can't smell sour, but you can smell things that your body knows are sour. And it tells you that's going to be sour. This isn't particularly sour. It's definitely, I'm almost positive it's Scotch bonnets. There's a tartness to it. I'm going to assume there's vinegar in here. Maybe it's like a fancy vinegar, like cider vinegar or something like that. I'm assuming, based on what I know about making hot sauces, there's some sugar in here. That's partially the consistency. I don't really taste sweetness per se, but I know what peppers and vinegar do if you don't have sugar with them. So I'm going to go with there's sugar in this. And there's seasoning. There's some sort of spices. Sorry. I just tried to cough and burp at the same time. And it's like my body went into a feedback loop. We're going to be okay, though. This one isn't painfully hot. I'm not sweating and stuff, and my face doesn't hurt yet. I probably could have put this one on my hand without leaving a little red spot. I'm having some more. I'm going to have some on a chip in a minute, too. I want to think about the seasoning. I mean, I'm pretty... There's some heat to this. I'm pretty sure there's black pepper in here. Not least because I think I can see black pepper in there. There's something nicely herbal. There's thyme, perhaps. And maybe sage? Thyme and sage? I'm going to go with that. And possibly garlic. Very, very tasty hot sauce. Nasty sauce. This would be mean if you coated wings in it. I mean, it's hot enough that you'd be... It's not a cakewalk. Let's say that. Be great on eggs. Man, I'd love this on eggs. What do we got? Scotch bonnet, onion. Oh, interesting. Thyme, parsley, ginger, garlic, clove, lemon, honey, white vinegar, orange, kosher salt, and canola oil. Pardon me as I burp. Ginger, eh? I don't get a particular gingery pop off that, but ginger can add, ginger can act almost just PC brand original thick cut ripples. Good for dipping, I think. You ever try making your own French onion dip? And I don't mean by using French onion soup. You should look it up. Alton Brown. Alton Brown will teach you how to make real French onion dip with onions. They don't have to be French, don't worry. Ontario ones work just fine. So I got a chip with some hot sauce on it. That's a good way to eat it. Except I also suspect it would give me a tummy ache. Because I bet I could eat a lot like that. I used to do this to myself. I'd come home drunk from an event or something. And I used to make, I still make, I feel like Mitch Hedberg. I used to do this thing. I still do it, but I also used to make a lot of, that is pretty hot straight. Make a lot of my own hot sauces. And I would come home and just put straight hot sauce on nachos and eat like half a bag of nachos and probably end up consuming somewhere in the neighborhood of like 100 ml of hot sauce. And then I would wake up with a very sore tummy. That's delicious hot sauce. I like that one a lot. Yep. So, is it still available? I've already closed the window. We'll never know. Well, I'm going to open it back up because I want to know the address anyway. Indie Alehouse.com. There's some building here. Maybe I was being a little laissez-faire about things. Well, it's not listed in the bottle shop. I wonder if it's listed in the merch shop. So I think they have two different sections of their online shop. We got some shirts. Got a dog collar. That's cute. Headbands, toques, gift card. Hey, there they are. Yep, Indie Hot Sauce. The deal here is $9. So the deal here is $9 a bottle, or all three for $28. Wait a minute. Oh, I get it. Hang on a sec. But that makes no sense. It's more expensive to buy all three together. Oh, I get it. Hang on a sec. Bingo. Oh, I get it. Hang on a sec. Bingo. Save a bit of money when you have not tried the Carolina mustard. They say, the one you save if you haven't devoured it with your fried chicken. Oh, that's like a reference to if you eat your fried chicken, you save some at the restaurant. Pardon me. Nasty sauce. That spicy kick everyone's been waiting for to come back since lockdown number 1. Well, I haven't been waiting for it. I didn't know about it. I typically get pizza when I go to Indie Alehouse. They make a mean pizza. But I know, man, they're spicy and they're fried chicken. Friends of mine swear by their fried chicken. So it's one of the best you can get. And I don't know if it still is, but it used to be boneless. Took a buddy for some beers there one time. He got the fried chicken. He was blown away. He's like, there's no bones in here. It's great. I just eat the whole thing. And then, pepperoni. You can put this on everything. Well, I haven't put it on everything yet, but I put it on a lot of things. And I agree. It's pretty tasty. So I would check this out. These are delicious. Handmade, I'm sure. Hot sauces. Just like I mean, they're probably literally the exact same, just put in the bottles as the ones at the brew pub. So get that. Indie Alehouse. Killing me up in here. I like that sauce, though. I really want to eat more chips, but maybe I should wrap this up. It's getting a bit long anyway. So what's going on? Not a lot. It's New Year's. Don't go out, please. We are in full lockdown. Enjoy it with the people near and dear you. Consider a Zoom call. Consider a phone call. Consider a text. Consider watching amazing things streamed online, because that's great. I saw on Facebook today, a friend posted something, I can't remember what, and another one of their, something about like, I'm going to do nothing for the next week. It's going to be great. And somebody else was like, yeah, except there's nothing on TV right now. It just seems to all be like sports. And my first thought was, do people still watch TV that way? Like, what's on TV tonight? That's so weird, man. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, watch something on TV. If people still do that. I have an antenna. I haven't even flipped over to it in like, I don't know, a year at least. The only time I do that is there's a sort on CBC that they're being jerks and not streaming for some reason. Yeah, I know about the Gem app. Okay, that's part of the reason why I haven't changed the antenna over in a while. What was I saying? Be safe on New Year's, please, guys. Stay in. Stay in with someone you love, if you get my meaning. Anyway, and then tune in this time next week, 9 p.m.-ish. This was already 40 minutes. And I started a little early, so maybe 45. Hot sauces. What can I say? Because I will be drinking Indie Alehouse Line Out Lager. They're part of the Toronto Arrows. And hopefully, if everything works out, talking to recently retired former captain of the Toronto Arrows, your Toronto Arrows. Oh, gosh, I wish I remembered which wing Dan played on regularly, because I would say number 13 on his back, but number 1 in our hearts. No, wait, not 13. 14? Number 11 or 14 on his backs, or number 1 in our hearts, Dan Moore. So that'll be a lot of fun. I'm not going to make Dan eat hot sauce, but if he wants to, he is more than welcome to. If he wants an Indie hot sauce, I'll get one to him. Unless he's somewhere really far away. I have no idea where he is in the world right now. But we're going to do that next Monday, 9 p.m. It'll be fun. By the way, if you watch these videos, Dan is at least 17% more handsome than me. Dan's a lot more handsome than me. So worth tuning in for. So until then, be safe. Have a very, very happy New Year's. Oh, now I'm worried. He's just texted me and said, I'm living in BC for a few months, my man. But I did ask him where he was. So he's not getting beer or hot sauce. Because unfortunately,